Over my time growing up here, I've taught many different kids from different ethnicities, yeah? I'm just going to talk about some of them. And the first set I'm going to talk about is young African boys, yeah? Because on my channel, for some reason, anytime I talk about African and Caribbean people, we're getting a lot of views. It's a bit weird. But anyway, it's a subject we like to hear about on the channel, so we're going to indulge in that today. So what I've learned is that a lot of African young kids, they respect African people before they respect Caribbean. Even if it is a teacher or someone who is there to educate you in some part of life. I've always wondered why that is, to be honest with you, because anyone can enlighten you. Your professor could be a Muslim Asian man. Do you get it? Your professor could be a Chinese man, but you would listen to him because he's a professor. When it comes to the black and the African thing, seems to be a bit of a problem. I'll take a specific story in places. I used to work with some young African kids, and I know they were African by their surnames, so I'm not trying to put anybody in a bracket who was not. He wanted me to do him a favour in a sense of being able to write him a reference. This was after we'd passed college and finished his college work. My answer was no. Simple and plain, because you was rude when I was your lecturer. So why would I do you a favour? And I realised to myself, am I being a selfish, bitter adult, or am I just teaching this person a lesson which is going to go with them to the end of life, which is be careful about how you treat people if you know you're going to need something from them in the future. I guess I took it to that deep level because I'm the adult in the situation, you know, and I don't want to put my name to something or to somebody who I know might let me down in the future, and I can see that your attitude wasn't always 100. So therefore, why the fuck am I going to do something for you? I know I could have turned the other cheek and been like, oh, okay, no problem. But I thought to myself, there was a few times when I tried to talk and get through to this person and just tell them that, you know, you're a smart kid. Just buck your ideas up and stop trying to be like everybody else or be this cool individual when just like every other black student who I've taught, being African or wherever he's from, Caribbean, I've always tried to speak to them on level and say, you know what? Life is going to be harder for you than what you feel. I know you're cutting through now, everything's all sweet and all that, but when we get to the next chapter of life where you have to really start looking at your character and people judge you for who you are and how you move and your etiquette, your mannerism, all of these things people are going to judge you for. Like, you need to change all that before someone is able to put themselves out for you on a limb to be able to help you. And I just wasn't prepared to do that for that person because I didn't feel that it was warranted for them to be able to get that pass for me. And I know why they did ask me, because I said to them, you know, if you ever do need a reference, give me a shout and I'll be able to sort it out for you, as long as you wasn't disrespectful towards me, because respect is earned, it's not given. So in that case, I just didn't feel that person respected me like they could have been respecting me in that situation as their lecturer for their trade, which is really important, you know. I had a good personal relationship with my lecturer who taught me plumbing. I actually went back to the same college and gave a seminar about how to teach people through QR codes, which was interesting because I got to see the same people and his name is Mario. And 20 years later, I was teaching in the same room as him. For me, I always had an utmost amount of respect for him, because without him I wouldn't have learnt my trade in the way I did. But I also just had respect for him as a person, as another man, because it had nothing to do with his race. And he is a Greek guy, yeah? So shout him out, Mario from Tottenham. If you know, you know. If he was ever taught by him, he's been teaching for years. And I just thought to myself, you know what? I always want to help black young kids more, because we need that level of support. We also need role models, and we need people to guide us, because some of the role models who we think that we have, they ain't real role models. They're people who are gonna guide you in ways which you don't need to know or focus on things like that in life now. You need to kind of focus on what you're doing and a task in hand, which might be trying to learn a trade. In my situation, it's always trying to help people to learn a trade, which is difficult to do because we've got a lot of elements which are in that region every day. Like, you know, you got girls, which is a distraction. You got people talking about money, which is a bigger distraction. You got people going through stuff in life, which is even harder, whether it's them trying to get to know themselves or be someone who they're not. I find that is the case a lot with a lot of them, which is finding their own identity, you know. Like I said, this person was like an A1 student, but more time you want to be the class clown. And if there was a chance to be a little bit rebellious, you would be that. But there was a straight A person, so being quite clever and smart was necessary for that person to be, but I could see they had so much more potential. So I hope one day, and even if they saw this video, they would realise that, you know, like, I didn't do that intentionally. I done that because I said to you at the beginning of the class, you need to mind how you move with people, because people can help you to your next step. But if you show them disrespect and show them points of you being rebellious, they could not help you. It's just like a switch. Turn it off, turn it on. When you need help from someone, guess what? There would be that person who's not there just to help you, just for the sake of it. There's so many adults that want to teach you a harsh lesson in life to be able to prove a point. And that might be their way of just making you learn a lesson. And it comes at your fault. So just remember that. And when I'm touching back on the point which I made at the beginning of the video, which was the young African kids who are smart, that don't respect information from people who are not African, which is a bit weird. They get along with them, but it's like you think that we have less common grounds to meet on, but we have more. And me as a person, I can't speak for other people, I'm more inclined to help, because I'm in an industry which is predominantly just white people. Do you get it? I have to hold my own and hold my grounds amongst these people in many situations. I don't do dumbing myself down. If I didn't know something, I'd say I don't know. If you think something's a stupid question, what is a stupid question? You don't know, that's the whole point. And your confidence level should be high, because you have passed college and you know the things what you know. But there are always little things which are going to hold you back, which might be your behaviour, how you carry yourself, how you interact with people. Like, I always like to tell people that this is a place for you to practice when you was in college. This is a place for you to work on your craft, to dig deep and say to yourself, do you know what? Can I do this? Bless me. And I hope that you can do it. Because sometimes when you do stuff, you don't get it right from the beginning. That's the truth. So it takes a little bit of time for you to adjust and to say to yourself, this is what I need to be doing, Another thing I will tell you, which I've learned about that African and Caribbean thing, especially the young kids who are born in this country, when the Caribbean man tells you something, or like I tell someone something who's in their 30s and I'm in my late 30s, he wants to ask me, how do I know these things? But he doesn't know these things. But you can't work out that I've been on this earth for longer than you, and the way of Western world, I've been indulging in it way more than you have. So that's why I know certain things, and because I've been bothered to try and know these things as well. And again, if you come across these things sooner than later, you will understand something when it's reoccurring and it keeps on happening. I only try and help people mould them for life, because there are some things that you come across in life and you think to yourself, oh, why me? Why does that have to affect me? And I've always said there's no difference between us, but there's this untold rivalry, and it's not from tribes, it's not from African people's upbringing. I don't know what it is, because I've been around African and Caribbean Christians, and there's not that type of level of rivalry. There's not that type of like, I can't tell you something and you can't tell me something. We can both tell each other something. We can help each other. And that's what I try to lean towards, because I know that everybody needs a helping hand, even if they say they don't. Like, you get so many people in life that want to know it all, or they feel like they know it, and they feel like they're better than someone else. I've always said, and I've learnt this from like my nan, like, no one's better than no one. Do you get it? Every man born a dunce. Do you get it? And you get smarter. You don't become a you don't become a shepherd, until you learn what the sheep does first. Do you get it? You cannot skip into being say you're a king on a chess piece when you was a little soldier bit before. You gotta work your way up. Like, you gotta digest life through everybody's eyes, and not just the people who are your culture's eyes, because the world is way more fucking bigger than that. But you'll always hold yourself back when you decide not to learn off of a certain demographic of people, just because you feel as if, like, maybe, I don't know, like, your people are smarter than them, or like you lot know more. Which is, if you know so much, why are you talking to people? That's my answer. If you knew all this stuff, why don't you just be around your own people? There's always two different ways how to look at things, innit? I don't try and look at things with a level of defiance. I look at these types of things and think, what is the real problem? The real problem is communicating. The real problem is people listening and understanding but not comprehending. So we listen to each other, we judge, and we don't really understand how the others have come to this information or have come to these answers. And that's what kind of bugs me. But I try not to give up, because I've got this thing with myself where I truly just want to help a lot of people, whether they're going through something or I know something in life where we can reason, learn, express and listen. Because everybody knows a lot of men don't do no listening. especially black or Caribbean men, couldn't really be the best listeners. I don't think a lot of men are the best listeners because they like to talk, like to hear the sound of their own voice, not listen to others and comprehend what they're saying and piece it together for yourself. Because wanting to be the smartest person, that's a you thing. Like, that's cool. You know, knowledge is definitely power. People respect people that know stuff. But even when you do know these types of things, you got to be mindful, because smart people will share information. People that want to hold you back or hold you to a certain place, they will hold on to the information for themselves and not share it with others. When I come across things like this, which I have come across before, which is, you know, the young African youth thinking that I don't really rate Caribbean people because all they do is party and go this, do that, listen to bashment music. Again, these are the westernized ones. These are the African people that have got family homes in the UK. They might go back to Africa, Nigeria, Lagos, Christmas time, whatever, see your cousins. Cool, but you're not from them, boy. You can rep somewhere as much as you want, and you can have the identity of your uncles or your dad or whatever, but you're not him, you're you. I get it, people have told you to be proud of who you are and never turn down or disrespect your own culture, but you have to respect other people's culture. That's just life, you know. You're going to come across a lot of different Caribbean people from a lot of different islands, and they don't always do the same things. Neither do they understand or care to want to have others as their friends. They're quite content with having their simple life, which I think there are a lot of black people that are like that. They like having just a simple life, and it might be too much to think about other people's lifestyle and how they live life, because they're more concerned with their own. I do get that, but when you're in this world of different people, you gotta ask yourself, innit? Am I getting everything I need from my people then? Or can other people teach me something? Because I'm sure they can. You just gotta be kind of like open into just taking that from people. Because like I said at the beginning of this story, it was a Greek man that taught me plumbing. I didn't look at him when I was younger and say, oh, he's Greek, he can't teach me nothing. No, how dumb does that sound? But I know there are UK African boys who would feel a man in his mid-30s couldn't teach you something as someone who is in their 30s. There are some of us who will always have that olive branch and be able to reach out to others. And there are others who, they just ignore you. They're not interested in you anymore. They know you got a fickle mindset. I'm not trying to coat a lot of people with that brush because it's stupid. I get it. A lot of people do have a lot of institutional mindsets when it comes to life and learning, you know. They only want to learn off their own and stupidness like that, but there's a lot of people like that through the races. And, you know, if you fuck with your own race and that's what you do and you don't fuck with other races, cool, that's your business. But that's not how really London works. People are from so many different backgrounds, and the diversity in the melting pot with people allows people to excel a lot, because your neighbour could be from anywhere. Do you get it? It's sad that people are like that, but that's the reality, man. I don't like to sugarcoat anything up too much than what it needs to be. The reality is that it's it does become harder to teach those people a lesson within life, because of that initial respect from everybody isn't always there. And it isn't always there between the UK African people and the Caribbean people in a teaching environment, I would say, because I've been in this environment many a times. I've seen it happen, I see it play out, but I still try to give people the benefit of the doubt and try and give them as much knowledge as I can. But be stern about it, be sturdy about it. If I said I was going to do something and I analysed that person and I look back and I said, you didn't stick to your side of the bargain, I'm not going to do what you asked me to do. Definitely not. If you behaved a bit differently, yeah. But that's probably the adult in me saying it's to do with their behaviour, and it's nothing to do with their race. I don't do that just to hold someone back in life, because it's not really going to get far. They could find someone else to give them a reference. Do you get it? But I just wanted to make this video for thought, because I know that we do clash on some things, but in most environments, or in this type of environment, it's all just to do with you learning a lesson. And the lesson that I'm always willing to teach is that no one is above no one, you know. No one is. But when you're on your way up on that ladder, you must be very careful on who the people you piss off or annoy, because people that are gonna bring this back up in the future. Oh yeah, you're right now, but your behaviour was shit before. Do you get it? I had to dig deep at you and ask you to do things so many times for you to do it. Oh, you did get it right at some point, but it took too long. That's the whole point. And I just can't go out too much on a limb for someone who I know would possibly not respect if I done something for them. Because again, I'm in a position where I don't need to do anything like that for them. But if there was a good person, or if I looked at their track record and I said, nah, he was a good youth, I'll do it. But if he was a youth who just caused problems, fuck that, man. Ain't doing shit. Don't matter what race you are as well. But with that person, I thought it was something to do with that, because when we would talk lightly about Caribbean stuff and African stuff, some people are shocked that I know certain things, you know. It's like when I would say to someone, do you speak pidgin and stuff like that? I know, because I used to have a barber who was Nigerian. Do you get it? All these little things I pick up on, but I remember as well. So this one's just food for thought. I want to know what other people feel about this. I would like people to answer who's been in like a teaching environment or had the same similar setup as myself, which is, you know, teaching environment, someone African Caribbean, whether you're a student, teacher, and you've had that relationship. I know a lot of people have had good relationships. I definitely want to hear about them in the comment section as well. But I appreciate all of you guys being able to touch in on this subject, because I speak about these things because I know they've happened in my life, so I know they've happened in other people's lives as well. So I would like to hear a little bit about from yourselves. And again, I never make it about being some type of rivalry with Caribbean African people. If you love black people, you love black people. That is it. We don't want to hear nothing else. But we do have to talk about and discuss the internal things which happen with us, so we can rectify them and they don't have to be rectified by someone else. You dig? That's it. Let's get it. Oh, make sure you like, share and subscribe. because I'll be dropping more videos like this. Let's go.